Okay, hello and welcome everybody. I've made a bit of a mistake with my live stream, so just give me 1 second. But welcome to the show. My name's John Lacey. This is Learn Live Streaming Live. I have been doing a bit of a thing this week where I have been just doing some working out loud. So I'm going to continue that today. We're going to do some more editing in DaVinci Resolve. So I'm going out live to most of the places. I'm not going live on Patreon today. That was a bit of a test yesterday, and it is interesting, and I'm definitely going to explore that further, but not today. So let's just get stuck in. Let's go to our screen share. I've got DaVinci Resolve open. Let's go to our OBS sources, which essentially is a live stream that I'm taking clips out of. So yesterday we worked on this one, which was about sort of sharing a window in OBS Studio. So let's go back to probably the cut page. Let's go back to our original timeline, because what I want to do is I want to just I want to take another section of this clip, because I think what I decided yesterday was that this one clip probably needed to be two clips. We'll leave the out section where it is, because I think that'll still be relevant. I don't know. I did do a thing where I cut out a fair bit of that subclip yesterday, so we'll find out today if that's a problem or not, but we'll figure it out. And again, I am using the Resolve Speed Editor to do this. Hello, Business Growth Ready. Hope you're doing well. Hope it's not too late in the night/morning. I'm sure it probably is, but I know some of us are a bit nocturnal. All right, so I'm just scrolling back through this clip. I want to sort of figure out where this starts. I'm probably just going to have to listen to a section of it to figure that out. So here we go. Benefit of window capture is I've moved this to a different screen, and OBS isn't going to freak out because it's watching the window, the application, rather than a particular. Okay, that's fine. That's not really the tip I wanted to share. I think it's a little bit earlier. I'm going to guess it's around here. We'll find out in a moment if I'm correct. So it is 10:31. Okay, good to know. See, if I minimize that window, it's disappeared from the screen capture. That potentially is another good point, but again, it's not what I'm looking for. So what I need to do is find this. And this is actually the point at which it might have been worthwhile for me to just generate subtitles for the entire clip so I could look for words more easily. Still probably a little loud. We might even go. Okay, so we're actually talking about audio now, so I'm probably in the ballpark. Hello, Red Mantis Edits. Great to have your company today. We're just doing a little bit of editing in DaVinci Resolve. I'm just taking segments from a live stream and turning them into YouTube Shorts. Something I've been doing all week, and we're going to continue that today. The must match the title, otherwise find a window of the same type. We're getting closer. Title, otherwise find window of same executable. I'm guessing you might actually the other pretty magical. Here we go. This is it. So this is the other point that we've got here. Hello to Lottie Mark. Great to have your company. So again, we're just doing some editing in Resolve today. I'm just taking segments out of a live stream that was recorded in OBS Studio about OBS Studio, and we're just making shorter clips. See, I've got this tip about capturing audio from a particular application that I just want to grab. The other pretty magical thing about this, capturing a window rather than an entire desktop, is that we have this capture audio beta option. So if you want to capture audio from a piece of software, this is a really good way of doing it. And again, you won't be able to hear this on the stream, but if you look at the audio mixer on my screen, if I press some of these, you'll see that it's playing sound. It is way too loud. It's spiking the red something awful. So again, if that is something that you're coming up across, we can just go to the audio mixer. We can go into the audio properties, probably bring this down maybe 60 dB and see what that looks like. Still probably a little loud. We might even go -8 dB. And again, if you prefer working in percentage, you can sort of toggle that as well. But now if I go and press those keys on that app, then that's good to go. So that's potentially really quite useful. Again, just keep in mind that this particular app, it's not filling my screen even on my smaller field monitor. I can increase. Okay, so that section about not filling my screen is potentially not relevant, so let's cut before that. I'm just going to zoom in so I can see the waveform a little bit better. Again, just keep in mind that this particular on that app, then that's good to go. So I'm going to say here is my out point. And I should say too, you may have seen the video thumbnail for this one. I do have a physical DaVinci Resolve speed editor. It's a magical little keyboard that comes with a scroll wheel, and it just makes my life so much easier. Normally I would actually cut in the cut page in a very different way, but I just find this is working well for me here. So I've selected my in and out point. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just in this, if I can do this here. Maybe I can't. I'm going to right click up here and I'm going to go create subclip. And that should give me a subclip just of that little portion. So if I go back to the cut page, and again, I'm only doing this because this kind of is how I've been working. Timeline 1, subclip 6 is now our new clip. I'm going to go into the edit screen. And we should just have that segment. I should note too that it does... The timeline references the actual position in the larger clip. So it sort of says, you know, 17 minutes and 29 seconds. If I go to the deliver page, we will find out that this clip is only 1 minute and 4 seconds. So that's potentially really good for our purposes. So again, a few things that I want to do here. I should say too, I've recorded audio in, I think, 6 different tracks with this video. I don't need all that audio. It's actually the same thing in all of them. And you'll see I've actually muted them all. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to unlink these. And I'm going to come in and actually just delete everyone except audio 2, because that's the one I want to use. And I probably should have done this on the main timeline, but it's fine. We can do it here. And I don't think I've actually made any clips, any cuts into this. I think this is one continuous clip. Okay, cool. So I don't need to worry about that too much. Again, just in the interest of, you know, cleaning up a little bit, I'm going to delete some of these extra tracks. There was even one more that I didn't even know was there, so we'll get rid of that one as well. Okay, I can delete all empty tracks and that goes away. That's interesting. That didn't work yesterday. I don't know what's changed, but anyway, that's fine. Okay, so we've got our clip. Again, I could probably... I'm going to link these up again. What I kind of want to do is just trim in on all of this. Because we've got a little bit of silence before I start. Again, I'm going to hold down the trim in key on the speed editor, and I'm going to scroll in, and you'll see that gets smaller. And then I think if I hold down the move key and go back, that'll bring it to the beginning of the clip. So we'll get rid of that little bit. The other pretty magical thing about this, capturing window rather than entire desktop, is that we have this capture audio beta option. So if you want... Okay. So again, there's going to be lots of little things that I'm going to repeat from earlier in the week. So if you've already seen this, you've already seen it. But I think it's worthwhile. And the great thing is, because we've done a bunch of these things before, this is going to take us a lot less time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually create a new video track above this one. And this recording is literally just me and the screen capture. I'm going to hold down the Alt key. I'm going to drag this up. I don't know if you can hear that, but this is the other thing I seem to say every live stream is my neighbors have never met a power tool they didn't feel compelled to own. So I don't know if you're capturing that on the audio, but they're just outside my window. And my window is like 90% shut, but it's a little bit open. So sorry if you can hear that, but we'll continue on anyway. So what I want to do in places is actually zoom into this second version of my screen capture. So let's just start at the beginning and let's just reposition this generally. So we probably want to adjust the zoom a little bit. So in the properties, gonna not quite that much probably, but we'll see. So yeah, I mean, zooming a ratio of 1 looks pretty good. Let's adjust the positioning so this is further down. I'll have to tweak these numbers as I go anyway, but actually that's probably fine. It's probably the y-axis we need to adjust. Yep, and I'm just using the cursor key to bring that down. Okay, so in this case, because, and this is the other slightly annoying thing about this, is I did actually reposition this dialog box to show things that were underneath it. So when I do resize this, you'll probably see a portion of me in the corner, which I don't think is necessarily a problem. Although it is kind of annoying. I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll figure it out. All right, so again, what you're seeing is like really tiny, and it will be a lot larger for people actually watching this video when I eventually publish it. So let's make this even larger, because what I want to do is really draw attention to this capture audio beta option. So we've got that there. All right. So I think that's a good idea in principle, but I think the other way rather. I kind of like I want to show a fair bit of that. Okay. In some ways, all I really want to do is show that one little capture audio beta option. So what we're going to do though is I don't want this screen capture to obscure everything all of the time. So I'm going to bring it in when it makes sense and then make it transparent when it doesn't make sense. So let's just listen to the first part of this clip. The other pretty magical thing about this capturing window rather than entire desktop is that we have this capture audio beta option. So if you want to capture audio... All right, so this... And I don't think I genuinely don't think I've put any keyframes on that, but maybe I have. It seemed to move weirdly, but that might have been me physically moving that in the recording. But that's fine. So what we want to do is I just want to think about where we actually want to bring this in. The other pretty magical thing about this capturing window rather than entire desktop. See, it's about here that I want to bring this in. So I'm going to just put a blade in here. So I'm going to cut that clip. I'm going Control B on my keyboard. There's probably a button on the speed editor for that. I'm sure there'd have to be, but I just don't know what it is off the top of my head. There is literally a button called cut, so presumably that's it. So I'm going to undo it and do this on the speed editor and go cut. I saw it 5 seconds ago. There we go. Okay, I don't think that did anything. Maybe that's one for the cut page specifically. Okay. I don't know. We'll go Control B for today's purposes. I will have to look that up. But again, what I kind of want to do when I'm not using this clip is I just want to make it transparent. So, and the reason I do that rather than just getting rid of it is just so that if these clips don't sort of move out of sequence, I really want them to be in the right place all the time. So let's see what that looks like. The other pretty magical thing about this capturing window rather than entire desktop is that we have this capture audio beta option. So if you want to capture audio from... All right, so when I get to this section where I say so, and I sort of move the window, I think we can go back to me. And again, just make sure you've got that clip selected. So if you want to capture audio from a piece of software, this is a really good way of doing it. And again, you won't be able to hear this on the stream, but if you look at the audio mixer on my screen, if I press some of the And this is probably the point at which I want to bring it back again. So I'm going to do a cut there. I'm going to adjust the transparency of, or the opacity rather, of this clip, which to 0. The other pretty magical thing about this, capturing a window rather than an entire desktop, is that we have this capture audio beta option. So if you want to capture audio from a piece of software, this is a really good way of doing it. And again, you won't be able to hear this on the stream, but if you look at the audio mixer on my screen, if I press some of these, you'll see that it's all right. So that's great, but I think we need to reposition our screen because I'm referring to something that's slightly off the screen now. And a part of me thinks I might need to actually reduce the zoom a little bit. And again, we just want to move a little bit in the opposite direction. And it's funny, I've kind of, yeah, it's, in fact, let's adjust the zoom even more. I think we want to show more of this to get the full impact. So we've got that there. Actually, maybe not the zoom so much as the position. So again, let's adjust this, the Y coordinate, just to show the app that we're referring to. Keep in mind that I do kind of want a little bit of this space at the bottom for my burnt-in captions. So let's just see what that looks like now. On my screen, if I press some of these, you'll see that it's playing sound. It is way too loud. It's spiking the red something awful. So again, if that is something that you're coming up across, we can... Okay, so just in that section where I talk about it spiking into the red after we've seen it on screen, I want to go back to me. That it's playing sound. It is way too loud. It's spiking the red something awful. So again, okay, that's probably not exactly where I wanted that cut. So let me try that again. And I'm just doing Control Z to undo. It's playing sound. It is way too loud. It's probably around here. It's spiking the red something awful. So again, if that is something that you're coming up across, we can... And again, this is the point at which I think I will return to that clip. So this one in the middle, again, we're just making it transparent. But if you look at the audio mixer on my screen, if I press some of these, you'll see that it's playing sound. It is way too loud. It's spiking the red something awful. So again, if that is something that you're coming up across, we can just go to the audio mixer. We can go into the audio property. All right. So this is the point at which I think we need to reposition this again. So in this case, I'm doing a lot of cuts and I'm just adjusting those individual cuts. Earlier in the week, I have done a little bit of keyframing. So, I mean, clearly either version will work, and especially for a short clip, you know, you kind of want it to be pretty short and snappy anyway. What I do want to make sure I'm doing here, you can just go to the audio mixer. We can go into the audio prop. We can just go to the audio mixer. We can go into the audio properties. I'm going to say about there, and it like I could have continued that clip to that point, but that's fine. I'm just going to make that transparent again. And from here, at the beginning of this clip, I think we need to bring this up a little bit so it's more centered vertically. Again, like you can... Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm doing that to the transparent clip, not the one we can actually see. So that's not great. If I undo that, okay, cool. I mean, it won't really matter, but I just want to make sure I'm on the right clip. Okay, so we want to bring that up so it's a little bit more centered. I do actually have a fair bit of this window to work with. So now we go video mixer, we can go into the audio properties, probably bring this down maybe 60 dB and see what that looks like. Still probably a little loud. We might even go -8 dB. And again, if you prefer working in percentage, you can sort of toggle that as well. But now if I go and press those keys on that app, then that's good to go. Okay, so I guess what I'm concerned about now is just making sure that we can see the audio properties. Probably bring this down maybe 60. Actually, I don't think that's terrible, you know. There's a part of me that kind of wanted to zoom out a little bit so you could see more of this dialog box, but really, we're only particularly concerned about this section here, and I think that's fine. And see what that looks like. Still probably a little loud. We might even go -8 dB. And again, just for that little section, just as a bit of a visual break, we're going to cut this one. Yep. Just this one. We don't need to cut the whole clip. And I'm going to make that transparent. And again, if you prefer working in percentage, you can sort of toggle that as well. And in my mind, I kind of feel like this is where the clip should end. And this is where we should have our overlay that's sort of a call to action to listen to the rest of the stream. So I'm actually going to select all of these. I'm probably just going to Control B and delete those sections. Again, could be an opportunity to use trim out, but I think this is fine, honestly. Ripple delete, there's nothing after this, so it won't really make a difference anyway. So we've got our clip. So this is the point at which I'll start sort of recycling some things from other projects. So let's go into our media pool. And let's go to timeline 1 subclip. Double click on the project. Let's go back to the very beginning. And I want to copy this. And I'm going to go back to my subclip. Make sure I'm sort of in the... I don't know. If I paste this, it'll probably create a new track. So let's just do that. Nope. Made a liar out of me. Let's make a new track then. A new track. And paste that one. And it still wants to put it there. Joyful. All right. I'm going to lock... Actually, what I'll do, I'll actually right-click into this track. That should make... No? Why is it like that? That's really annoying. Okay, I'm going to lock all these tracks. So I'm not making changes to any of them. And this should be the only place it can physically paste this in. Come on. It doesn't want to paste into. Why is it being like this? This is very annoying. This has worked several times. Okay. Let me try it again. Okay, so I've got to make sure I'm clicking on the... And so what this is just multi-text, and it's got some effects and transitions and stuff attached to it. I'm going to Control C it. I'm going to go back to my subclip. I'm going to paste that in. Why does it refuse to paste into track 4? I don't understand. That's worked perfectly all week long. Does it have to be on the same sort of track? So... Oh, I made it to the wrong project. Hang on. So this was on track V3. I have no reason to think it should. That is kind of weird. I've never had this problem all week long. Paste it in. Come on, you can do it. It really doesn't want to. All right. If I... Oh, is it because I've got these selected? No. Wow, that's very irritating. I wonder what's different. Again, let me just see if I can... I'm just going to see if I can drag this onto here. I don't know that that did anything. Multi-text. Oh, it did. Okay. I think the thing that happened last time I tried this was that it didn't actually bring in my effects, which maybe we can just recreate them. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to bring in the effects. Okay. I don't think that's really a problem. But I guess what I can maybe do is go to paste attributes. No, didn't do anything at all. All right, let's go back to this other clip. Copy. Paste attributes. And we'll go all. Apply. And it still doesn't do it. Okay, let's not dwell on it too much. I'll figure it out later, even if I just have to drag in those effects again. I think they were just... it's just a push. In fact, can I copy that? Anyway, let's not worry about that too much. So, let's go capture window. Let's call it capture app audio in. I'm gonna make this ever so small. I think that'll work. All right. So we're going to have this little bit of text come in. The other pretty magical thing about this capturing window rather than entire desktop is that we have this capture audio. And again, I'm probably going to need to make this go away before this comes in because otherwise it's going to obscure everything. I'm just going to turn these back on. I didn't know that really does much, but... So, the other pretty magical thing about this capturing window rather than entire desktop is that we have this capture audio beta option. So, if you want to capture audio from a piece of software, this is a really good way of doing it. And again, you won't be able to hear this on the stream, but if you look at the audio mixer on my screen, if I press some of these, you'll see that it's playing sound. It is way too loud. It's spiking the red something awful. So again, if that is something that you're coming up across, we can just go to the audio mixer. We can go into the audio properties. Probably bring this down maybe 60 dB and see what that looks like. Still probably a little loud. We might even go -8 dB. And again, if you prefer working in percentage, you can sort of toggle that as well. Okay. So again, another thing that I want to do from a previous subclip, and again, it'll be interesting to see if it'll let me do this. What I actually do want to do is I made this I think I made this a compound clip. If I double click onto this one. What I want to do, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to try and copy them. I know this hasn't worked particularly well for me today, but let's just try again. Let's go here and we'll paste. It's gone a little bit beyond the clip, so let's bring that in. But percentage, you can sort of toggle that as well. And that's just a call to action for that last little section, saying learn more about OBS Studio sources. And on YouTube, I'll use a shorter clip to bring that in, to link that up as a related video. What we will need to do though is think about how we're animating this in. And I think that was just a push. On the beginning. The other pretty magical thing about this, capturing window, and then I think I had a push off the screen. But again, let me just consult my earlier clip to see what we did there. A webcam, you have a digital camera that has some sort of direct input in. Okay, that is a push. 1 second and push up. Yep. Okay, cool. So it's nothing really terribly elaborate. So just keep that in mind. The chat support asks you to remember to like and subscribe. So hit that magical button. There we go. My magical button's working too. So like and subscribe. If you're interested in live streaming and video creation and editing and podcasting and content creation in general, please do that. So what we're going to do is go back to our effects. We're going to grab that push again, but this time we're going to push up. And just go from here. The other pretty magical thing about this, capturing window rather than entire desktop, is that we have this capture audio beta option. Okay, cool. So now what we can do, let's just get rid of the effects. We don't need to see that right now. Let's go to our timeline menu. Let's go to AI tools. I don't really love AI tools generally, especially not generative AI tools, but I do love things like this. So this actually is create subtitles from audio. This is only available in the DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is the paid version of this software, but it's kind of amazing. So we can go to language. I just reminded I speak English. You could leave it on auto potentially. I like to have 2 lines, and I'm going to hit create. And it's going to do its thing. This all happens on my local computer. So again, depending on how old your computer is, that may or may not be a good thing. But once it's done its thing, and again, this is only a 1-minute clip, so it didn't take very long at all. You'll see that we've got our text here. So when we've got our subtitle track, there's a couple of things that we can do. There's a tab here, like there's a subtitle section. Half of this is caption and half of this is track. So caption is for the words that literally appear here. And because this is AI, it's going to get some things wrong. That's fine. We can go in and sort of manually update those if we need to. But the other thing is the track. So if you want this to be physically burnt onto your video, which is often something I like to do, this is the place where you can adjust the fonts and, the font weight, color, size, line spacing, kerning, all of the things, drop shadow. But because I've created a bit of a text style for these projects in the past, and all I did there was I went to the original project, I went save track as preset, I gave it a name, and that name was this OBS sources captions at the top here. So now if I go to that section and go to load preset, you'll see that text is a little bit smaller. I think it's got either an outline or I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't remember what I did here. Okay, so no, it's just literally the white text on the darker background. So that's fine. I could go through and listen to this and read those captions just to make sure they're correct. The other thing that I do, and this is really a personal preference, is I like to leave these on screen for as long as possible. So I will just go and drag this. Again, it could be that maybe if I wanted this to be shorter and snappier, I could probably cut into the edits points a little bit more. But I sort of said this yesterday, and I think it is true. Like, different audiences want different things. And I know there are lots of videos out there with people talking at 100 words per minute. Or 1,000 words per minute, like really fast. I honestly find that a little overwhelming. So I like to give my videos a bit of time to breathe. I know that's not for everybody, but I'm not for everybody. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'm just literally dragging out these captions so they're just on screen for as long as they can reasonably be. So if somebody is a slower reader and they're watching this with their phone, the audio muted, they'll have plenty of time to get the gist of what I'm talking about here. Some of these, you'll see that it's playing. And here you'll actually see that this text is probably a little bit too close to what I'm trying to talk about. So we might even come back and adjust that underlying clip in a little bit.
It is way too loud. It's something awful. So again, mix. Go to audio properties. Probably bring this down maybe 60 dB.
Okay, I mean there's one hell of a gap there, but again, the gap is there so I can sort of demonstrate the audio spiking. So there is a visual there. And maybe, like I sort of talk about how you wouldn't have heard that audio on the live stream anyway, but maybe I could even just bring something in. Okay. So interestingly, we don't really have any cuts in this particular clip. This is kind of very much a standalone thing. In other videos I've done during the week, if I did have a obvious clip and I wanted to make it obvious that, you know, there was something missed out in between those two sections, I would use sort of a blur between those two clips. And I think that can be visually quite dynamic, but again, it's what your audience is looking for. Okay, so this is the section. So we have this this bit here. I'm going to make the audio a little bit smaller just so I can see more of the visual stuff now. Do we have anything on track 6 or track 5? Doesn't look like it. All right, I'm going to right click into my tracks. I'm going to go delete empty tracks just to clean up a little bit. All right, awesome. So what I'm just looking for... Okay. I have locked this previously. I'm going to have to unlock it to make this adjustment. But I kind of want this to be up in the frame a little bit because I don't want the subtitle obscured by that. I don't think we need to do that. And that's the y-axis, not the x-axis. Okay. I think that'll work. So that's that value. The only thing now is kind of, if I go to the next time I bring that back, does that still work? I think it probably does. I think that's fine. Yep. Okay. So that's all good. We've pretty much got our short ready to go. So a couple of things, and I know I've said a lot of this earlier in the week, but if you're catching me for the first time today, this might be useful if you're new to DaVinci Resolve. If you do have captions, if you've generated them in DaVinci Resolve, or if you've even used other tools or you put them in manually, we have a couple of options. So first of all, if you go to the subtitle track here and right click on it, you have the ability to export these subtitles. And I think that's a really useful thing to do. So if we go export, I'm going to just go to my collection of shorts on this one. This one's going to be 004 capture app audio. And I'm going to call this 004. Again, this is my personal naming convention. And the thing about this is I do like to make sure I'm using subtitle files without formatting, because if you visually change, like you can make parts of your subtitles bold and italic and stuff, and that will potentially put some HTML tags inside of this file, which may or may not work depending on where you upload it to. So just keep that in mind. I generally just err on the side of without subtitles. So I've got that file there, but I kind of, the other thing too is if I want to just export this, I have a few different options as well. So I'm going to find my folder. Again, organizing things is very, very important if you ever want to find them ever again. Capture app audio, and I might even put the word in burnt just to say that this is what I want to do here with some burnt captions. Again, we have presets. You can create your own presets if you want to as well. This is just an MP4 in H.264, which I think is fine. We'll go down to our subtitle options. We'll go export subtitles. And this is the point at which we can do this as a separate file, which is kind of what we've done already. And you do have those same sort of options, SRT, SRT without formatting, WebVTT, etc. We do also have the ability to embed them into the video file. And again, some players will display that, some won't. But in this case, I want this last option, which is burn into video. And that way, when I export this video, you will physically see this. And it's really interesting. And I feel like I've done an entire live stream on closed captions and videos. Some platforms let you upload this stuff, some don't. Instagram gives you the option of automatically generated captions, which I don't personally love. So I tend to turn that off and just make sure there are burnt captions on my videos wherever possible. But we have this, we're good to go. There is another clip from yesterday. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go add to render queue. I'm just going to hit this render all button, which is just beside my head in the stream. It's going to do its thing. And then we've got our video file. So again, I feel like I'm probably saying this every single time I go live lately, but people are really scared of DaVinci Resolve in the way that they're scared of OBS. And I just want to say, you don't need to be scared of it. They both have a lot of features. They're both software you can grow into, but you don't need to know everything to get started. And I think that's the message I'm always trying to convey. Like most of the videos that you'll make for social media, for YouTube, they're really just a collection of cuts, and then maybe you want to have some transitions, maybe you want to have some text. Like, it's not massively difficult. And this is free software. The one thing I will say is DaVinci Resolve, the free version of the software. I'm using the studio version here, but I have used the free version in the past. It's really powerful. Unless you want some of these specific features like the AI captions, you probably don't need to pay for this software. I bought the speed editor because it looks cool. And to be really clear, it is really cool, and I still need to learn a lot of things about it. But I really just wanted to support this company because they're just doing some amazing things. So yeah, like I say, I'm really enjoying doing these streams. I don't know if you guys are getting anything out of this, but I'm going to keep doing them probably for at least this week while I have a little bit of downtime. So hopefully they're of use to you. I'm actually getting stuff done by having the accountability of being live and doing it in real time. And I think that's working really well for me. I kind of want to have a collection of these shorts that I can start uploading to my channel as of January, which is tomorrow. Here in Australia, we're already on New Year's Eve. So I guess I need to get started, although I've got, I think I've got 4 clips so far. Well, I say that, I have to go back to the first one because it's more than 3 minutes long, so it won't work as a YouTube short. But anyway, that's fine. So I'm probably going to keep doing this. I'm hoping to go back to my regular show format on Saturday, tomorrow, not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. But again, I haven't quite thought of a topic yet, so just watch this space and have a great day, have a great week. Hope you see the new year in with style, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I will talk to you again very, very soon. Thank you so much for being here.